What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Plant-Based Eats. Got a special treat for you today. I'm going to be taking some of these homegrown fava bean pods and turning it into a fresh fava bean chili. Chili is one of my specialties, so stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this one. So the first step to prepare the fava for cooking is to simply remove the outer shell from the beans. You can easily accomplish this by snapping off the top of the bean and pulling it down along the seam, at which point you can pop the beans on out. One thing I do want to mention, however, is the fava is not actually even a bean. It's from the vetch and pea family. Funny how some of these foods get their name, huh? So I'm just going to continue on deshelling all these beans, and I'll be back with you shortly. Oh, and check out the inside of the shells. Isn't that neat? It's almost like a soft fleece jacket or something on the inside. Really unique. Alright, so that took me about 25 minutes. It's a little bit of time, but hey, you got to put a little loving in your cooking, you know what I mean? And one important thing I want to note is that I started off with approximately 5 pounds of fresh fava bean pods, and after deshelling, I ended up with an even 2.5 pounds of beans and 2.5 pounds of shells. Alright, so the fava beans are actually edible just as they are. You could eat them raw, you can cook them at that point. They're fresh beans. But I'm taking this recipe to the next level, and I'm going to prepare these beans a little further by adding them to some salted boiling water for about 30 seconds to a minute and a half tops. And this is going to make it really easy to remove the outer skin of the beans. You'll see what I mean by that in a minute. Now I'm just going to let this get back up to a boil before I start the countdown. Alright, so we got our boil going, so I'm just going to let this go for about a minute. Then I'm going to immediately put it into this cold ice bath here. That's going to help stop the bean from continually cooking and turning into mush. Alright, so the minute's up. I'm just going to drain these beans real quick and straight into the ice bath. Let those rest for a couple minutes, cool down before we go to the next step. Alright, so it's been a couple minutes. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take the outer skin off of each one of these beans. And as you can see, they practically just slide off after that boil. And I'm just going to continue on, just got a few more left to go. Actually, this has only taken me about 10-15 minutes or so, and I just want to share with you a really quick technique. Just popping off the top there and then squeezing the bean out. Really easy stuff. You get into a rhythm, doesn't take that long at all. Alright, so here's what we ended up with, an absolutely beautiful bowl of some fresh fava beans ready to go into our chili. But before I move forward, I just want to quickly weigh these out and measure them out so that we can all be on the same page here. Alright, so it looks like we got 1 3/4 pounds worth of fava beans and somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 cups. Alright, so now let's get going on this chili. So the first step is I got the pot here on medium-high heat, and I'm just going to add a little cooking oil to the mix as we're going to get a saute going to start things off. Next, I'm just adding in 1 medium-sized yellow onion chopped up, and then about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Give that a quick stir, and let it continue to saute. As the onion and garlic continue to saute down, I like to add a little bit of water to keep a little moisture in there rather than adding in more oil. Works well, just keeps it healthy. Little tip for you there. Alright, so it's been a couple more minutes. Smelling good in here. I'm now just going to add a small can of sliced mushrooms to the saute. And give that a quick stir. Alright, well, it's been a couple more minutes and the saute is looking good. The onions are beginning to become translucent. So I'm going to go ahead now and add in the next ingredient. And that's going to be a can of stewed tomatoes. I'm also going to be putting in a can of regular tomato sauce. And give it a stir. Now that we're back up to heat, I'm going to add in some water. This is 1 quart or 4 cups of water. To that, I'm going to be putting in some sun-dried tomatoes, and I'll be adding in about 1/4 cup. Just stir that in. And now that we're back up to heat again, still on medium-high, I'm going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. To that, I'll be putting in about 1.5 tablespoons of cumin and 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper. Also going to be putting in some Himalayan sea salt to taste. And some fresh ground black peppercorn to taste. Next up, I'll be adding in about 1/4 cup of fresh chopped oregano from the garden. If you didn't have fresh, you can always use about a tablespoon of dried oregano here. And we'll just stir all these ingredients together. And I'm just going to leave this now to simmer on low heat, allowing all those flavors now to marry together and the sauce to thicken a bit. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes, and as you can see, the sauce has cooked down a bit, it's thickened, and it's looking good to add in the fava beans. Now I'm adding this in at the very end because these beans are pretty much done, they're cooked. So there's really no need to try to continually cook these beans into your chili base. We just want to get all those flavors married together at this point. So got the beans in there, going to stir them on in, and I'm just going to leave this to continue to simmer on low heat for about 10 more minutes. Alright, so it's been about 10 more minutes, and as you can see, the chili's really coming together nicely now. Smells great in here. I'm now just going to go ahead and turn off the heat and allow the pot to cool down in place for about another 10 minutes, and I'll be back with you shortly. Alright, it's been 10 minutes, things have cooled down nicely, and this chili's done. So let's go ahead and serve some of this up. Now tell me that doesn't look good. Alright, let's give this a try for you. Oh my, my, my. That is some good stuff, let me tell you. It really doesn't get much better than this, folks. I hope if you get a chance to pick up some fresh fava beans or grow some at home that you give this recipe a try. It is absolutely delicious. Well, that's it for now, everybody. As always, I hope this video finds you and finds you well. Take care, everybody. I'll be talking to you again soon.